What's up, traders? It's your girl Kaya Trades, and you guys have been asking, how did you catch that setup? So today I have a trade breakdown for you of this banger trade I took yesterday. So let's go ahead and hop onto the charts and see how I made $1,000 on this trade. All right, first things first, I'm going to show you guys the trade that I took yesterday. As we can see, I took buys on micro NASDAQ and we hit, it was like a point or two away from 1 to 2, and then it just started like retracing. It did push up higher eventually, but I just took my profits so I can be back to break even on my funded account. And yes, if you don't know, now you know, I did take advantage of the Apex 250K accounts funded account challenge. So I'm working through that right now, and you guys will see the journey and the process of me doing that. So let's go ahead and hop into the charts and see how I was able to capture this trade. It was not this day, it was yesterday. So we're gonna go and we're actually gonna delete everything that's on the charts. Today's trade, y'all, beautiful direction, and price just did a lot going. It had a lot going on, but anyways, to start off, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I look for when I come to the charts. First things first is I check the news. Yesterday was Thursday. We had no red folder news, so I wasn't too worried. But then let's go ahead and look at the charts. I'm going to mark out 9:30 because I typically don't trade until after market opens. But we can see before the market has opened, we have a new higher low, excuse me, and then a new higher high. I will show you guys that in just a second. 1 hour high. Okay. And honestly, you could have even taken this one to up here. It doesn't really matter. But let's see. I got this because we started going down, making lower lows, lower highs. This low is lower than that. This high is lower than that high. This low is lower than that low. We had kind of some noise in between here, but inevitably we broke that low. We came back, we made a higher high, then we started breaking structure to the upside. We had a small pullback, so I was anticipating price to push up, potentially pull back, and then move in a higher direction. But since we were, even if we use the zone, since we were already moving a little bit higher, I was expecting for price to continue that trend. We're gonna write out our KT system for our supply and demand strategy, and our 1 hour was bullish. Typically we want our 1 hour and 5-minute time frames to align. So now the only thing I'm waiting for is the 5-minute to come into alignment with the 1 hour trend, which is bullish. So we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to 9 o'clock. That's 8 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock. And then we're going to go ahead and go down to the 5-minute because I want to move this to 9:30 open. Okay, and so as we can see, price did in fact break the high of this candle of the 1 hour, but our goal is to see if it wants to just sweep the liquidity, to which I would make this a dashed line, or if it's actually going to hold and continue the trend up higher, right? Kind of looking a little bit like this. So now we're just waiting to see. I do initially write another high and low just to kind of be more into and aware of the time frame that I'm actually on, but I'm going to delete this first and get towards our 9:30 mark. I was traveling yesterday, so I didn't really have like everything set up how I normally have it. We were still able to catch this bigger trade, but things are just a little wonky. Mind you guys, I'm already looking for bulls, and since we've created a new high, I'm waiting for price to come and break this high. So we have a high here, And the high that created this was this low down here. I'm not necessarily going to put this low right here just because I consider it minor structure and I want to focus on major structures. So we have our low right here. But as we can see, price broke right here. Boom, we had a break of structure continuing the trend to the upside. So initially I should have seen this already. I didn't, but we're going to mark it now just because we're seeing it now as well. I'm going to zoom back out to find our KT system to put it in the corner. I'm also going to put our daily note of the day. All right. Oh, not the 1 minute, the 5 minute. All right, so as we continue, we already see we have a zone way, way, way down here. Let's see what happens at market open. All right, so price came down, sucked a little bit of liquidity, didn't break any highs for real. So I'm just still waiting, sitting on my hands for a setup to take place. And boom, wouldn't you know it, we get a break of structure to the upside. So we're gonna write out our trend for our 5 minute. All right, and so the next thing on our list is where we got the break of structure. So boom, the break of structure happened at 9:35. So I'm gonna type that in. Yes, at 9:35 a.m. we got that break of structure. So we could potentially be looking for this zone, right? This zone I did mark out yesterday. We're still waiting for price to get there. Once we actually make a high and come down a bit, we'll move our highs and lows here. But I'm just still waiting and waiting and waiting because if there is no top of my zone, then there's no need for me to continue looking for the break of candle for an entry because we haven't even had confirmation to enter. But I like this zone because we have a lot of explosion from here, a lot of aggressive movement from here to the upside, which is in alignment with the higher time frame trend. So let's see. Okay, we still have no taps. Okay, price could potentially come down and tap us. Psych. And normally you would see people marking out this zone, and that's great. But let's just see what happens if we do mark out this zone. Okay. All right, we got a tap. Hold on. All right. No break of candle so far. So again, we got the tap of the zone. So even if I want to put it, I'll show you guys. We'll put it here. We got the tap of the zone. Yeah. Yes, at 10 a.m. we got the tap of the zone. So since we have a tap of the zone, we're looking for an entry now. We're waiting for the break of candle. Did that candle break the high of this? The candle that just tapped the zone. We're waiting for the next candle to come above it to take an entry higher. If that doesn't happen, I won't get into a trade, right? So we're just waiting for the break of candle. If it does, I would take this setup, right? For the 1 to 2. Let's see what happens next. Still no high. And instead of adjusting here, we got to close below the zone. So I'm going to invalidate that zone. That zone has now been invalidated. So I no longer have a tap of zone. So now I have to wait for another tap of zone. Luckily, we have one right down here. I'm going to go ahead and delete the zone. And since we're actually pushing down and price is starting to make a little bit of minor breaks of structure, I'm going to go back out and zoom out and see if there was something that I might have missed. And clear as day, I zoomed out and here is a 1 hour supply zone. So you guys know I like my 1 hour's purple, my 5 minutes orange. I haven't necessarily been looking at the 4 hour just because it's kind of been confusing me with my trends. Like I just want to stick with the trend that I'm trading. I'm an intraday trader. I'm not going to be focusing on the full day, right? Okay, so as we can see, price had a high, made a lower low, made a lower high, lower low, somewhat of a higher high. But then what did price continue to do? Price continued to fall, right? So this is just internal structure. If I was going to make it a little bit cleaner for your eyes to see, hold on, let me zoom out just a little. We have the high way up there. we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low. The breakup structure happened here. We're expecting price to do something similar to that. But again, not really focusing on too much of that. I just know that because this broke structure, we created our 1 hour supply zone. That's a valid zone for price to reject at. So let's see what happens when price gets there. Oh, perfect. And I looked left, and of course, reaction time happened there. We already broke that first demand zone. Let's see what happens now. We get a tap of our another zone. So I'm going to write this tap. At 10:15, we get another tap of a zone. Yay. Yes, at 10:15 a.m., we get a tap of the zone. So now what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to come back above this candle for me to get in. Now, this is a 130-point stop loss. Would I really want to take that trade? Probably not. You can do whatever you want to do. For me, I'm not going to take that much of a stop loss, but it just depends, right? It depends on your account size. Right now, if I were trading my live account, I would not take this trade. Since I'm trading my funded account right now, I may or may not take this trade depending on how much risk I can put on it. If I go above my max risk with it, I don't even want to take it, right? So we're waiting for the break of candle to enter on this trade. Let's see if we can get it here. Again, taking it for the 1 to 2, yada, yada, somewhere up there. Let's see if we can get the break of candle. And we did not. We did not get a break of candle. Have we closed below the zone? No. So the zone is still valid, right? So I'm going to put my adjustments right here. Let me see about adjusting this to the perfect thing as well. It's not necessarily clean. Should be right there. Perfect. All right. So now, as we can see, price came down to this zone. There is a little bit of a gap here, which is very good confluence to get into a trade as well. I'm going to make this green so you guys can see it. It tapped the gap. It did not tap the 5-minute demand zone. Remember, anytime we are looking at a bullish market, we are looking for demand zones. Oh, well. Anytime we are in a bearish market, we are looking for supply zones. Right now, my 1 hour is bullish because we're starting to break structure to the upside and make higher lows, just like this right here. We have a high, a higher low than whatever low was down there. We broke structure. We made a higher low right here than we did right there. We broke structure. Now we're looking for price to hold one of these levels to push higher. And now that we've adjusted and this zone has not broken, I'm waiting for the what? Break of candle to enter. Let's see if we can get that entry. And absolutely price tagged us in here at 10:25. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my chart. Yes, at 10:25 a.m., price gave us an entry. Now, from here on out, I'm doing nothing other than watching the charts until I can get to my 1-to-1, which I'll mark that out for you guys. This is a 2 to 18, 1 to 2. It's kind of like right off in there. We're going to create our 1-to-1 really quick. At the bottom of this candle to the 1-to-1. Almost there. Okay, kind of around this level. This is where we would move our stop loss to break even. This is the only time I should be trying to move anything on my charts. Okay, so we're waiting patiently. I was in the car, I was traveling, I was waiting, I was watching for sure. And as we see, okay, price came back, gave me a little drawdown, but still rejected breaking this zone. We don't want this zone to break because then this level is invalidated. It's still holding, no candles have broke below it. Okay. We're still pushing up, we're still pushing. Okay, a little bit of pullback, still pushing up. Okay, even closer to my break even, right? So I don't want to move my stop loss too early. I want to wait till we get to the 1-to-1. And of course, we hit the 1-to-1. So now my stop loss is being moved to break even or a little bit above, depending on however you're feeling. And now I'm just waiting for price to smash my TP2. And let's see what happened. Of course, price made its way all the way up to my TP2, and we were able to secure a 1K trade. Beautiful. It was a beautiful trading day. It followed all of the rules. My 1 hour, my 5 minute were in alignment. We did get a break of a break of structure to the upside right up here. We had to wait for price to come back down and tap our zone, and we did, and it never broke our zone by closing underneath the zone. We never had a candle close underneath the zone. Beautiful. And then we had a break of candle to enter, right? Our candle got broken. The candle lastly that tapped the zone got broken to the upside, and then we moved our stop loss to break even after 1-to-1. The rest was history. It was a beautiful trade, a disciplined day, and the only hard thing I had to do was wait, right? This trade we entered in at 10:25. It snagged TP2 around 12. Crazy work. But patience plus discipline equals freedom. I don't know where my little KT note went again. My note went again. Okay? Or discipline plus patience equals freedom. Either way you try to interchange it, that's what's going to help us become better traders, become more consistent traders, right? Discipline, following our trading plan without emotions, regardless of what's happening, and being patient to let it play out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.